Admiral James Walker stood at the window of his office on Luna Base, his eyes fixed on the blue marble of Earth hanging in the darkness of space. The message in his hand would change everything. After decades of preparation, the moment they had all been waiting for had finally arrived. "Sir," his assistant Tom stepped into the room. "The decryption team has finished their analysis. The alien transmission is genuine." Walker nodded slowly, his weathered face showing no surprise. At 62, he had spent half his life preparing for this day. He turned from the window and walked to his desk, where a holographic display showed the incoming alien fleet's trajectory. "How many ships?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. "Over 3,000, Admiral. The Stellar Confederation, as they call themselves, seems to believe we're an easy target." Tom couldn't hide his smile. Like everyone else in Earth's true military, he knew better. Walker sat down and opened his secure communication channel to the United Earth Defense Council. Within moments, 12 faces appeared on his screen. The leaders who had guided humanity's secret advancement for the past 2 decades. "Ladies and gentlemen," Walker began, "Operation Shadow Shield is now active. The Stellar Confederation has made their move exactly as our deep space sensors predicted. They're coming to incorporate Earth into their empire." Council President Maria Rodriguez leaned forward. "Time until their diplomatic vessel arrives." 3 days, Walker replied. "Their main fleet is holding position just beyond Pluto's orbit. Our intercepted communications show they expect this to be a simple show of force, leading to our immediate surrender." The council members exchanged knowing looks. For 20 years, humanity had maintained a carefully crafted facade of technological limitation. Their public space program showed only modest achievements: a few bases on the Moon and Mars, primitive ion engines, and basic laser communications. The reality, hidden behind Jupiter's massive radiation belts, was very different. "Begin Phase 1, Rodriguez ordered. "Admiral Walker, deploy the decoy fleet. Let's give them exactly what they expect to see." Walker pressed a button on his desk, and a new hologram appeared. A small fleet of deliberately outdated ships, designed to look impressive to a primitive civilization, but laughable to an advanced one. These vessels would be Earth's first line of defense, a paper tiger meant to reinforce the Confederation's overconfidence. "What about the Jupiter fleet?" asked Defense Minister Anderson, referring to humanity's true military force. "Maintaining position in the shadow zone," Walker confirmed. "The radiation belts are masking their energy signatures perfectly. As far as the Confederation can tell, Jupiter is nothing more than a giant ball of gas, with a few mining stations around its moons." He pulled up another display, this one showing the real fleet. Thousands of ships powered by antimatter drives, equipped with phase shields and gravity weapons that the Confederation couldn't even imagine. 20 years of reverse engineering crashed alien vessels, combined with humanity's own innovative drive, had produced technology that surpassed anything in known space. "Begin broadcast of the prepared civilian communications," Rodriguez commanded. "Let's make sure they hear exactly what they expect." A somewhat divided humanity, arguing about whether to resist or surrender. Walker nodded. The plan they had prepared for so long was now in motion. Earth's apparent division and technological backwardness were carefully crafted illusions, designed to draw in the Confederation's fleet. Let them come, thinking they faced a primitive civilization barely capable of reaching Mars. Let them arrive with their condescending offers of protection and incorporation. "One last thing," Walker added, looking at each council member in turn. "Remind all personnel, maintain protocols. When their diplomatic vessel arrives, everyone plays their part. We're a developing civilization, awed by their technology, unsure of our place in the galaxy. The more they underestimate us, the better this works." As the council members signed off, Walker turned back to the window. Somewhere out there, the Confederation fleet was approaching, confident in their superiority. They had no idea they were flying into the most elaborate trap in human military history. Tom cleared his throat. "Sir, should I begin the evacuation of non-essential personnel from the Jupiter shipyards?" "No," Walker replied with a slight smile. "That would create too much activity. Let them come. We've spent 20 years preparing for this moment. Now we get to show them why humanity has survived every challenge it's ever faced." The warning had come, just as they had planned. Now it was time to spring the trap. Commander Lisa Thompson looked out the window of her shuttle as it approached Jupiter's orbit. Even after 50 trips, the sight still took her breath away. The massive gas giant filled most of the view, its swirling storms creating patterns of orange and white. But it wasn't Jupiter itself that made her heart race. It was what lay hidden in its shadow. "First time?" asked the pilot, noticing a young engineer staring wide-eyed at the planet. "Yes, sir," the engineer replied. "I just got cleared for Jupiter Division last week." Lisa smiled, remembering her own first trip. "Wait until you see what's behind it," she said. The shuttle curved around Jupiter's massive bulk, using the planet's gravity to save fuel. As they passed through the radiation shield, humanity's greatest breakthrough in protective technology, the real show began. There, stretching across an area larger than Earth's moon, was the Jupiter Fleet Shipyard. Massive construction docks held ships in various stages of completion. Energy webs connected the facilities, looking like giant spider webs made of light. Nearly 1 million people worked here, all sworn to absolute secrecy. "Sweet mother of," the young engineer whispered. Lisa nodded in understanding. "Welcome to humanity's best-kept secret." The shuttle docked at Control Station 1, where Lisa had her office. As head of shipyard operations, she oversaw the construction of humanity's real defense fleet. The public only knew about the small group of ships that patrolled Earth and Mars. They had no idea about the armada being built here. Commander Thompson, her assistant Mark, greeted her as she entered the control room. The test of the new phase drive was successful. Ship 247 managed to shift completely out of normal space for 30 seconds. "Any problems with the crew?" Lisa asked, reviewing the data on her screen. "None. The phase shields worked perfectly. They didn't even feel the transition." This was what made Earth's fleet special. After finding a crashed alien ship near Pluto 15 years ago, human scientists had taken its advanced technology and improved it in ways its original makers never imagined. While other civilizations used brute force to power through space, humanity had found ways to slip between its very fabric. Lisa walked to the main observation window. Below her, workers in spacesuits swarmed over the hull of humanity's newest flagship, the Terran Dawn. Nearly 2 kilometers long, it carried weapons that could disable an entire enemy fleet without destroying a single ship. That was another human innovation, finding ways to win without needless destruction. "Status report on the Jupiter shield," she asked. Mark pulled up another display. "Operating at full capacity. The radiation masking is perfect. As far as any observers are concerned, this is just empty space with dangerous radiation levels." The Jupiter shield was their greatest defense. It used the planet's natural radiation belts to hide their activities, while also protecting the workers from harmful effects. Any alien scan would show nothing but normal radiation patterns for a gas giant. "Commander," a voice called from the communication station. "We just got word from Earth. The Council has approved the final phase of construction. We're to have the entire fleet ready within 5 years." Lisa nodded. Their deep space sensors had detected the first signs of the Stellar Confederation's expansion. It was only a matter of time before they reached Earth. But humanity would be ready. "Send word to all construction teams," she ordered. "Double shifts starting tomorrow. I want every ship combat ready ahead of schedule." As she watched another massive hull plate being moved into position, Lisa thought about the coming conflict. The Confederation, like so many advanced civilizations, had grown complacent in their power. They thought technological advancement meant building bigger ships with stronger weapons. Humanity had taken a different approach. Instead of just making better weapons, they had changed the rules of space combat itself. Every ship in this fleet carried technologies that the Confederation would consider impossible. "Mark," she called, "let's go check on the antimatter production facility. If we're speeding up construction, we'll need to increase fuel production too." As they left the control room, Lisa took one last look at the massive shipyard. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would learn that humanity was far more than they appeared to be. And it would all begin here, in the shadow of Jupiter. The Stellar Confederation's diplomatic ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond the Moon's orbit. It was massive, nearly 3 times the size of Earth's largest visible spacecraft. Its silver hull gleamed in the sunlight, covered in markings that showed its status as a diplomatic vessel. Ambassador Robert Mason stood on the bridge of Earth's grading ship, the Global Unity, watching the alien vessel approach. At 55, he had spent the last decade practicing for this moment. Every word, every gesture had to be perfect. "They're hailing us," reported his communications officer, Jack. Mason straightened his simple blue uniform, deliberately designed to look formal but technologically basic. "On screen," he ordered, letting a hint of awe enter his voice. The alien face that appeared was humanoid but clearly not human. The Confederation ambassador had gray-tinted skin and large, dark eyes. His expression carried the familiar look of benevolent superiority that Earth's psychologists had predicted. "Greetings, people of Earth," the alien spoke through their universal translator. "I am High Ambassador Dex of the Stellar Confederation. We come in peace." Mason bowed slightly, not too deep, but enough to show respect. "Welcome, High Ambassador. I am Robert Mason, representing the United Earth Government. We are honored by your presence." The alien's expression softened further, clearly pleased by Earth's apparent deference. "Your species has achieved much in a short time. We have observed your development with great interest." "You've been watching us?" Mason asked, allowing surprise to color his tone. Behind him, his crew played their parts perfectly, exchanging worried glances. "Of course," Dex replied smoothly. "The Confederation monitors all developing civilizations. Your achievement of basic spaceflight caught our attention. We believe you are ready to join the galactic community." Through the view screen, Mason could see more ships appearing. A small escort fleet of 10 vessels, each bigger than anything Earth officially possessed. Right on schedule. "This is overwhelming," Mason said, letting his voice shake slightly. "We had no idea there were others out there, let alone such advanced civilizations." Dex smiled benevolently. "There is no need for concern. The Confederation exists to help species like yours develop safely. We offer protection, guidance, and access to some of our simpler technologies." A junior officer rushed up to Mason, handing him a datapad. The ambassador made a show of reading it nervously. "High Ambassador, our sensors detect more ships arriving at the edge of our solar system." "Many more ships?" "Ah yes," Dex nodded. "That would be our protection fleet. Standard procedure, I assure you. They will take up position near your outer planets to ensure your safety during the integration process." Mason exchanged worried looks with his crew. Integration process. A simple formality. Earth will be granted protectorate status within the Confederation. In exchange for our protection and guidance, you will contribute resources and accept our leadership in matters of interstellar policy. The bridge crew shifted uncomfortably, playing their roles perfectly. Every nervous glance and worried whisper had been choreographed months in advance. "This is quite sudden," Mason replied carefully. "Our people value their independence. We would need time to discuss such a significant change." Dex's expression hardened slightly. "Of course. However, I should mention that all civilizations at your level of development eventually join the Confederation. It is the natural order of things." "I understand," Mason said quietly. "Would it be possible to arrange a meeting with our full government council? They would want to hear this directly from you." "A reasonable request," Dex agreed. "We can shuttle your leaders to my ship for discussions." "Actually," Mason suggested, "we have a conference facility on our moon base. Would you consider meeting there? It would help our leaders feel more comfortable. The alien ambassador considered this. Acceptable. We will meet in 12 Earth hours. As the communication ended, Mason maintained his worried expression. Everything was going according to plan. The Confederation's arrogance was making them predictable. Send word to Luna Base, he ordered once the channel was closed. Tell them our guests took the bait, and send the coded update to Jupiter Command. Operation Shadow Shield is entering Phase 2. The real show was about to begin, and the Confederation had no idea they were walking right into humanity's carefully laid trap. The Moon Base conference room fell silent as High Ambassador Dex finished speaking. The holographic display showed the Confederation's massive fleet now positioned near Mars, 3,000 ships strong, their weapons clearly visible. You have 48 Earth hours to accept our generous offer, Dex announced. The Confederation does not wish to harm your civilization, but we cannot allow unaligned worlds to exist so close to our trade routes. Captain Michael Reed, commanding the Earth ship Defender, stood at the back of the room watching the Earth Council's perfectly acted responses. Some showed fear, others anger, and a few appeared resigned. 20 years of preparation had made them excellent actors. Council President Rodriguez spoke first, her voice trembling slightly. This is not a negotiation. It's a threat. A reality, Dex corrected smoothly. Your species has potential, but you are young, primitive. Look at your ships, basic ion drives, simple laser weapons. Even your most advanced vessels are centuries behind ours. We offer you protection and guidance. And if we refuse? Defense Minister Anderson asked. The alien ambassador's expression hardened. Then we will be forced to demonstrate why all developing civilizations eventually join the Confederation. Your entire defense fleet consists of 30 ships. We have 3,000. The choice should be obvious. Reed checked his hidden communicator. The signal from Jupiter Command was clear. Everything was proceeding as planned. The Confederation fleet had positioned itself exactly where Earth wanted them. We request time to discuss this privately, Rodriguez announced. Surely you can grant us that much. Dex nodded graciously. Of course, you have 48 hours. I suggest you use them wisely. With that, he and his guards transported back to their ship in a flash of light. As soon as they were gone, the act dropped. Rodriguez turned to Reed. Status of Operation Shadow Shield. On schedule, Reed replied. The Confederation fleet is holding position exactly where we predicted. Their scans can't penetrate the radiation noise we're generating around Jupiter. As far as they know, it's just a gas giant with a few mining stations. Anderson pulled up a secure hologram showing Earth's true fleet, hidden behind Jupiter. Thousands of ships, each more advanced than anything the Confederation possessed, waited in perfect formation. They're so confident in their superiority, Reed noted, they didn't even question why we wanted to meet on the moon base instead of their ship. Pride comes before the fall, Rodriguez replied. Have they detected the quantum entanglement transmitters we installed in the conference room? No, Reed smiled. They think our communication technology is limited to basic radio and laser systems. They have no idea we've been listening to every private message they've sent to their fleet. The council members gathered around the secure display. The Confederation ships looked impressive, but Earth's scientists had spent years studying their weaknesses. Their shields couldn't stop phase-shifted weapons. Their sensors couldn't detect ships using quantum displacement drives. Their mighty weapons would be useless against gravity manipulation fields. Begin evacuation of all non-essential personnel from Mars, Rodriguez ordered. Make it look like we're panicking. Captain Reed, your ship will maintain its position as part of our primitive defense fleet. Reed nodded. His ship, the Defender, looked old and weak on the outside. Inside, it carried enough advanced technology to disable a dozen Confederation vessels. But for now, it would play its part as bait. What about the mining stations on Europa and Ganymede? Anderson asked. Keep them running normally. Rodriguez replied. "We want the Confederation focused on Mars. Let them think Jupiter is just a backwater mining operation." As the meeting ended, Reed looked at the hologram of the Confederation fleet one last time. In 48 hours, they would learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. Earth had spent 20 years preparing for this moment, hiding its true strength behind a carefully crafted mask of weakness. "Send the coded signal to Admiral Walker," Rodriguez ordered. "Tell him to begin charging the phase drives. When the deadline expires, we'll show the Confederation why it's dangerous to threaten Earth." The countdown to humanity's revelation had begun. The 48-hour deadline was about to expire. The Confederation fleet hung in space near Mars, their weapons charged and ready. High Ambassador Dex stood on his flagship's bridge, watching the timer count down. Still no response from Earth. He asked his communications officer. "None, High Ambassador. Their ships remain in defensive positions around their planet. Scans show their population appears to be in chaos." Dex nodded, satisfied. Every civilization reacted the same way when faced with the Confederation's might. First denial, then panic, and finally submission. It was the natural order of things. "Launch the warning shot," he ordered. "Target their moonbase. Minimum power, just enough tow." "Sir," his sensor officer suddenly called out, "I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations from Jupiter." On the main view screen, Jupiter's massive form seemed to ripple. The gas giant's radiation belts, normally stable and predictable, began to pulse with strange patterns. "Impossible," Dex whispered, as the sensors went crazy. Space itself appeared to tear open behind Jupiter, and from this tear emerged humanity's true fleet. Ship after ship appeared, each one larger and more advanced than anything the Confederation had ever seen. Their hulls gleamed with a metal that didn't exist in the Confederation's database. Energy readings from their drives broke every known law of physics. Admiral James Walker stood on the bridge of the Terran Dawn, Earth's flagship, watching as his fleet took formation. 5,000 ships, each one powered by antimatter drives and equipped with weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics. "All ships reporting ready, Admiral," his tactical officer announced. "Phase drives charge. Gravity weapons online. Shield matrices at full power." Walker opened a channel to the entire fleet. 20 years of hiding ends today. Execute Operation Shadow Shield. Phase 3. The Earth fleet moved with impossible speed, their phase drives allowing them to slip through space itself. Within seconds, they had surrounded the Confederation fleet completely. On his flagship, Dex watched in horror as his sensors tried and failed to make sense of what they were seeing. How is this possible? Their technology was primitive. We saw their ships. "This is Admiral James Walker of the Earth Defense Fleet." A calm voice came through all channels. "Your scans are working perfectly. What you're seeing is real. For 20 years, we hid our true capabilities, waiting for this moment. The Confederation ships tried to power up their weapons, but nothing happened. Earth's gravity manipulation fields had already disabled their systems, turning their mighty warships into helpless metal shells." "Impossible," Dex shouted. "No civilization could hide such advancement. Our surveys showed." "Your surveys showed exactly what we wanted them to show," Walker replied. "While you watched our primitive ships around Earth and Mars, we built our real fleet in Jupiter's shadow. Your sensors couldn't penetrate our radiation masking technology. You saw what we wanted you to see." The Earth fleet's ships began to glow with strange energy. Phase shields shimmered around them, making them appear to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Gravity weapons created localized distortions in space, holding the Confederation fleet completely immobile. "We could destroy your entire fleet right now," Walker continued. "But that's not humanity's way. Consider this a demonstration. Your weapons are disabled. Your engines are offline. You are, at this moment, completely at our mercy." From his flagship, Dex watched as a small Earth ship, the same one he had dismissed as primitive days ago, phased right through his vessel's hull, appearing on their bridge. Captain Michael Reed stepped out, smiling. "Now then," Reed said calmly, "I believe it's time to renegotiate the terms of Earth's membership in the Confederation. And this time, we'll be the ones making the offer." Jupiter's swirling storms reflected the light of thousands of ships as humanity finally revealed its true power to the galaxy. The shadow game was over, and a new era was about to begin. Lieutenant Emma Parker sat at her weapons station aboard the Earth ship Swift Justice, watching the disabled Confederation fleet drift helplessly in space. Her targeting computer showed thousands of alien ships, each one held motionless by Earth's gravity manipulation fields. All ships reporting successful system lockdown, she reported to her captain. "Not a single shot fired, sir." Captain John Taylor nodded, pride evident in his expression. "That's the beauty of humanity's approach. Why destroy when you can disable? Why kill when you can demonstrate?" Through the main viewport, Emma watched as several Confederation crews abandoned their ships, their escape pods floating harmlessly in space. Earth's fleet had planned for this too. Recovery vessels moved in, using tractor beams to safely collect the escape pods. "Incoming transmission from the Terran Dawn," the communications officer announced. Admiral Walker's face appeared on their screen. "Begin Phase 4. Show them exactly what we can do." Emma's fingers danced across her console, activating the demonstration protocols. Around her, other Earth ships did the same. It was time to show the Confederation just how outmatched they really were. The Swift Justice phased through space, passing straight through 3 Confederation ships as if they were made of smoke. Other Earth vessels demonstrated similarly impossible feats. Some split into multiple copies, others seemed to exist in several places at once. A few simply vanished, reappearing instantly at different locations. "Confederation ships are hailing us on all frequencies," reported the communications officer. They're asking how this is possible." "Send them the prepared technical package," Taylor ordered. "Let them see exactly what they're dealing with." Emma watched as the data streamed out. Earth wasn't just showing off. They were teaching. The technical package contained basic information about humanity's advances: antimatter power generation, phase drive theory, gravity manipulation basics. Just enough to prove that Earth's technology wasn't magic, but science far beyond the Confederation's understanding. "Sir," Emma called out, "I'm detecting power fluctuations in several Confederation ships. I think they're trying to restart their weapons." Taylor smiled. "Let them try. Our electromagnetic pulse systems have completely rewired their power grids. They won't be able to fire a single shot until we allow it." On her screen, Emma could see the fear and confusion in the Confederation crew's life sign readings. They had come expecting to find a primitive civilization, easy to conquer. Instead, they had found humanity at its finest, powerful beyond their imagination, but choosing to use that power with restraint. "Recovery teams report all abandoned ships have been secured," Emma announced. "No casualties, not even minor injuries." "Perfect," Taylor replied. "That's what Earth Command wanted. A demonstration of absolute power, used with absolute control." Through the view screen, Emma watched as Earth ships began attaching quantum locks to the disabled Confederation vessels. These devices would prevent any attempts to self-destruct or damage the ships. Again, human technology showed its superiority, not through destruction, but through protection and control. Message from Admiral Walker. The communications officer called out. "The High Ambassador has requested a meeting. He's offering unconditional surrender of the entire fleet." Taylor leaned back in his captain's chair. "Tell the Admiral we'll maintain our position. The gravity fields can hold these ships indefinitely without harming their crews." Emma looked at her weapons display one last time. The most advanced targeting system ever created by human hands, capable of disabling thousands of ships simultaneously without causing a single death. This was humanity's true strength, not the ability to destroy, but the wisdom to show mercy even in victory. "Captain," she said quietly, Do you think they understand yet? Why we hid for so long? Taylor nodded. They will. Sometimes the best way to prevent a war is to show your opponent that fighting would be pointless. Thanks to 20 years of preparation, we just changed the balance of power in the galaxy without firing a single shot. As the Earth fleet maintained its perfect formation around the helpless Confederation ships, the gas giant Jupiter continued its eternal dance through space, no longer needed as humanity's hiding place. The shadow game was over, and Earth had won without firing a single shot. 1 month after the Jupiter incident, Admiral James Walker stood before the Confederation Council on their capital world. The massive chamber held representatives from 1,000 worlds, all of them still trying to understand how they had so completely underestimated humanity. The terms are simple, Walker explained, his voice carrying through the vast space. Earth will join the Confederation not as a subject world, but as an equal partner. Our technology will be shared gradually, but only with worlds that demonstrate peaceful intentions. The council members murmured among themselves. On the walls, massive screens showed the Earth fleet still stationed around Jupiter. The ships no longer needed to hide, and their true forms were magnificent to behold. But how? One council member finally asked. How did you advance so quickly? Our records show your species only achieved spaceflight a century ago. Walker smiled. Necessity breeds innovation. When we found that first crashed alien ship near Pluto, we realized we weren't alone in the galaxy. Instead of announcing our discovery, we chose to prepare. Every resource, every brilliant mind on Earth, focused on a single goal, protecting our world. He gestured to a hologram showing Earth's shipyards around Jupiter. We didn't just copy the alien technology we found. We improved it. While the Confederation focused on making bigger ships with stronger weapons, we asked different questions. Could we phase through space itself? Could we manipulate gravity? Could we achieve victory without destruction? In the front row, High Ambassador Dex, now stripped of his title, watched with a mixture of shame and amazement. His mighty fleet had been defeated without a single shot fired, disabled by technology he still couldn't understand. Earth proposes the creation of the Galactic Scientific Coalition. Walker continued. A new organization, separate from the Confederation's military structure, dedicated to peaceful scientific advancement. All worlds will be welcome to join, regardless of their current technology level. The council chamber erupted in discussion. This was unprecedented. The Confederation had always controlled technological advancement, deciding which worlds were ready for new discoveries. Already, our scientists have begun working with your engineers, Walker explained. The ships we disabled have been repaired and improved. Your crews report that their vessels now operate at 30% higher efficiency than before. On the massive screens, new images appeared. Earth scientists working alongside alien engineers, sharing knowledge and ideas. The fear and tension of the previous month had been replaced by curiosity and cooperation. But what guarantee do we have? Another council member asked. Your fleet could still dominate our worlds. Walker touched a control on his podium. Above the council chamber, a massive hologram appeared showing Earth's most advanced ship, the Terran Dawn, powering down its weapon systems. We choose cooperation over domination, he declared. Earth will maintain its defensive capabilities, but we're actually reducing our fleet size. We don't need 5,000 ships to prove our strength. Actions speak louder than threats. The council members watched in amazement as the hologram showed Earth ships being converted, weapon systems replaced with scientific equipment, warships transformed into exploration vessels. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, Walker concluded. It's our ability to imagine a better way. We hid in Jupiter's shadow not because we feared the galaxy, but because we wanted to emerge ready to change it for the better. The vote that followed was unanimous. The Confederation would reform, transforming from an empire built on military might into a coalition founded on scientific cooperation and mutual respect. As Walker left the council chamber, He thought about the 20 years humanity had spent preparing in secret. They had built the most powerful fleet in known space, not to conquer the galaxy, but to ensure peace. "Admiral," his aide called out. "Message from Earth. The first joint scientific expedition is ready to launch. Confederation scientists are already calling it the beginning of a new golden age." Walker smiled. The shadow game had served its purpose. Now it was time for humanity to step into the light and help guide the galaxy toward a brighter future. Not through force or fear, but through wisdom, innovation, and the simple human desire to reach for the stars.